I'm talking about zeros with the carbine right now. Most common one you see is 5200. People pass on around a lot, but they never take into consideration optical height to see how that affects that. And most people never proof it out past 50 yards. They just throw 5200 on there and assume it's going to be bang on at 200 or really, really close, something like that. And it's not necessarily always the case. Your 5200 could be much further actually, and with the shorter barrel, it could be closer. Everything plays a role. Velocity, optic height, all that. These are all variables you need to take into consideration. So this particular one, I'm isolating the variable of optic height. So got the same load, going the same speed for everything here. About 55 grain bullet, 3,000 feet a second. I have standard height, 154. Lower third, which is 170, 193. And very popular right now, the 226 / fast height for real heads up shooting position, night vision, stuff like that. You see those things everywhere now. But we never heard anybody talk about if any of this has changed. And you never hear anybody ask about optics height or state their optics height when they're asking what's the best zero for them. So what I have is the actual figures for all 4 of these different heights. So with this, center line here is going to be our 50-yard zero mark across the board, and then the deviations above that, because as covered on maximum point blank range zero video, you have a max orb between your near and far zero, obviously because gravity's affecting the bullet the whole way, and that is the tip of your arc. So in relation to your line of sight. So with this, you have 50 yards zeroed. At 100 yards, we're high, obviously. The highest we're going to be at all is at 150 here, which would be 2 inches above our line of sight. And then 200 yards, we're on our way back down from our max orb. And then we're truly zeroed again at 220 yards. That is where our far zero is. Now I come over to the 170, 50 yard zero, 100 yards high as well, 150 yards, 2.3 inches above our line of sight, very close to our 154. There's not a huge difference in height between these two. Then we are coming back down 200 yards and our true far zero at 225 yards. Come over to the 193 height, 0 to 50, on the way up at 100 yards, a couple inches high there. We're starting to get into the territory of if you're shooting at something like the size of a clay bird, or if you're talking about defensive use, like the center, you're getting up there pretty high in the close to shooting over stuff or giving it a haircut. Even something as simple as like a clay pigeon. This, at 100 yards, you might be shooting over that clay pigeon with that 5200 on a 193 mount. And then you're truly zeroed again at 240. So it's truly a 5240 zero with that height. Now we come over here, 50 yards, 0 to 100. Starting to really get up there. Same issues as this. Something to definitely take consideration. You might want to be applying a hold under for some precise shots there. Then 150 yards max orb, 3.4 inches. Again, that's pretty far up there. If you're shooting something tight, not everything's always a full-size IPSC or something like that. So you figure, I come over to this USPSA head box actually, and I aim in the center. If you aimed at the center of the alpha, you shot over the head. So something to be considered there. So that truly works out to a 5260 zero. So it's quite a noticeable difference. We're talking about, 40 yards between the two, and some serious offset differences. Now, something to really take into consideration is a lot of people with these mounts, with just a dot on them, think I'm only going to use this thing up close. I'll 0 to 25. With this load, if you zero this at 25 yards, with one of those 226 height mounts, that's such an aggressive angle for zero. Your 25 yard zero is actually a 25, I think 435, and at about 250 yards, you will be shooting 17 inches about over your target. That's pretty drastic. You got to take that into consideration and really think about the further out effects of that zero. I really don't recommend zeroing up that close. I'm actually a big fan of 100 yard zero for everything, and then you can apply some sort of maximum point blank range zero from there, because at 100, it's sort of the happy medium for almost all rifles, where your near and far zero pretty much just skate along that 100 yard line, and then it's all down from there, so you never have to worry about hold unders really, except for your actual sight height. Up close, you have to apply like a little bit of a hold over just to make up for the mechanical offset. but you never have to really hold under anything, which is nice. I like to just be able to go up. So that's my personal opinion on it. Something to be taken into consideration for sure.